All right, welcome back, guys. So today I want to talk to you guys about how do you build your lesson in Canvas or just in esports. Oh my God, not esports. Your digital curriculum. I have esports in my mind because yeah. So listen, I'm going to use a sheet of paper here to show you my planning process. I'm also got on the screen up here, as you see, I have my calendar that I used to keep. So what for physics? So I used to teach physics, and what I first did was I had a calendar and I'd write out everything. Oh, let's go back down, zoom down. There we go. There you go. So I would actually have a calendar, and I'd actually write everything on this day. I did this to this, and then eventually I just took all of it and put it onto, as you see up there, right? Up here, you see that eventually I put it all into what we did every day, basically, kind of like made it easier for me in the future to kind of figure out where I was going. Now, you guys might not have this for your class, and so what if you do not have this for your class? Or what if you do have it for your class? How can I plan this out using Canvas? Because I don't even know where to start in Canvas or how to build a lesson in Canvas. So, first thing I want to talk about with you guys is in science, there's this thing called the 5E model. Okay, the 5E. I like it because it gives me a process. It gives me something to follow. It gives me a bare minimum. You have to engage. Some would say elicit, engage. That would be the 7E. All right, so that's kind of step one. How do I get my learners involved? Right, number two, how can I get them to explore? How can I explain? How can I get them to elaborate? And then how can I evaluate? Now, the great thing about this model is it's very fluid and it's malleable, okay? You should start here and go downwards. But of course, if you want to put, let's say you want to evaluate here, do it. You want to evaluate here, do it. You want to evaluate again here, do it. Because the number one most important thing you can do as a teacher is check for understanding, which means you need to look for the following. Gotta have evidence, right? That's key. Evidence is key. So when you're designing your plans, okay, and if you need a formula to follow, ladies and gentlemen, I have for you the formula. Engage, elicit, explore, explain, evaluate, and elaborate, not necessarily in that order. So on my calendar, I'm going to show you as I go through my planning process, I'm going to explain how it kind of works with that. So the first thing I want to do is I want to engage and elicit, okay? Now, let's start with a brand new unit. In physics, I would teach acceleration. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a fan of sitting down on a Sunday and taking a few minutes out of my time to say, all right, where are we at? And where do I want to be by the end of the week? So I would have a goal. End of week. What should we be able to do by the end of the week? And you can see in this week right here, I have kind of a review going on here. But if I look, I need to get them to do acceleration. We did a lab, an in-class lab, and we then had a worksheet to kind of finish it off. But the review is what was important. I've got it pulled up here. So I'd want to do some review of speed, some average calculations. And what I would do with my kids in class is I would pull up each question one by one. I'd have them answer it, and then I'd explain to them the answer. And you can get through, I think, 17 questions. Yeah. I can get through 17 questions in one class period and then have something extra to go over at the same time. Oh, God, I just closed that out. That's okay. I can have something extra to go over at the same time. You'll notice that I do have a PowerPoint, right? So if I'm teaching honors, I would do, what is acceleration? That's my opening question, right? So that would be, how do I engage them? Well, what is it? Read this. How do you get it? Now, other ways I would do it are different. I would say, like, for example, how is lag in Smash compared to how lag is in Call of Duty? How can we explain that using internet, packets, and routers? So now I'm getting their whatever is involved. Now, you don't have to engage them. with some crazy higher order thinking question. You should try it, but you don't have to do it, okay? That's not the purpose of this. And I wonder if I actually have my other notes here. Yes, I like to keep all my notes together. Mazes of motion. So I mean, I have different ways to kind of get them involved, but this was an honors class. We have so much to cover, so I'm just going to get right to the point. I do think that this piece right here is probably the weakest piece online, okay? But maybe you should give them a question. You should give them a video to watch and say, what do you think about this? For example, with my course here, my first thing is the basics to the internet. That's kind of like where it starts. And then my introduction piece is Daigo versus Wong, a legacy. And I made a video. It's kind of like hyping them up. You could find a video if you want to hype them up, if you want to engage them, however you want to engage them. So anyways, let's go back to the process of building your lesson, right? I like to build it on paper. What do I want by the end of the week? I want them to be able to, use acceleration equals change in velocity over change in time, which means that they need to practice. That they need, and that would be with me and on their own by the end of the week. And then they must be able to use acceleration equals v final minus v initial divided by change in time, which is the same equation, just looks a little differently, right? So I want them to be able to use this. That is my goal. I want them then to be able to do solve for acceleration, final velocity, initial velocity, and time. And that's it. Guys, when you are planning your courses, I would highly, highly encourage you to plan for the week. Where do you want them to be at the end of the week? If you don't want to do that, plan by unit, okay? Where do I want them to be by the end of this unit, okay? If your unit's 1 week long, 2 weeks long, 3 weeks long, where do I want them to be? Now, when it comes to acceleration, let's just use this block as an example. Every level represents a skill. There's a skill. There's a skill. There's a skill, and it gets bigger and bigger as it goes up, right? Those are all skills. You have to understand that when you teach online, you cannot teach face-to-face. It is almost impossible to get all of these skills taught. So this purple right here, this is what you can't do. I like to think of it as this whole thing right here. This is what I want. This is 100%, right? That's my 100%. That's what I want. I want to teach this. You cannot do that online. You can only teach maybe 60 to 70%. So I would highly encourage you. What is the bare minimum that you need by the end of the week or by end of the unit? List your goals out. Say, what do I have to do for it? Now, we're going to keep going, okay? So what I did first was I kind of made my goals so that way I know what to evaluate them on. This is called backwards planning. I know this is still kind of a lot of information, so just bear with me here, right? This is all going to come together here in a minute. So, okay, I have what I want by the end of the week, okay? I know I want all of this, but I'm going to accept that if they get it. Cool. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my Canvas, okay? And I'm going to create a new module. Acceleration, week 1. Add module. That module's at the bottom. They always show up at the bottom. Now what I want is I want a new assignment. Or actually, before we even get there, how do I even know what to build? Okay, so let's go back to the paper real quick. How do I want to do this? All right, 1. Actually, I'm going to use different colors, so that way you can see it. Number 1, how can I get them the information they need? Where's my explain piece? Because here's the thing about teaching online. I think you have to give them everything first up front, most of it. Which means, do you have a PowerPoint? Do you have a video that they can watch? And this is where the information is going to come from. It's also notes. Do you want to do guided notes? These are the main things that I will use to build a lesson. What resources do I have that I can upload onto this canvas? And if you go over to here, you'll notice that I actually have a set of notes, rather, that I can upload for them that kind of explain what they need for it, so I can put that as a resource. So now I want to know, number 2, what do I want them to do? What are they going to do? And it's going to be one of 2 things. It's going to be, number 1, how are they going to explore it? They're going to get their hands dirty, right? So this is kind of like beginner level. In the classroom, right, this would be like if I did a lab with them. Okay, so here's how I would do it in acceleration. Day 1, we'd get in. I'd put the equation up. I'd be like, all right, guys, here's a question. Let's solve it together. And I would do this for like 10 times. I need at least 10 questions to go through this with, right? And I want you to do is I want you to get your piece of paper out, and I want you to write down what I write the exact way that I write it. And what you're going to do is, on the way out, I want to see it, or I want to walk by, I want to see that you've written something. So now I know who has and who hasn't been following at least the lecture to have some examples to go by. You can't do that online because of whatever reason. So what you can do is, you can say, well, actually, we're going to get there. That's the evidence part, right? But that's just how I normally would do it. So first, day 1, I would do, let's take some examples. Day 2, I'd give them an equation sheet. Look at this. I actually got it up here. This is my day 2. Everything that we talked about the day before, you guys are spending the entire day. I'm going to come in, I'm going to ask you an essential question, kind of do like a refresher with you, solve this question, right? So that would be day 1. And then day 2 would be like, it falls off, right? It's 1.5 seconds later with 14.7. Find the average velocity of the flower pot. And then we go back to here, and you'll see here's, average acceleration. So you'd have final velocity, initial velocity, time, acceleration. So I'd pass this out when they first show up to class. I'd give them this bell work, and I'd say, all right, let's do it on the back of this paper. And then I would also have the solution written out for them to go up, which uses that equation. Now, you cannot do this live in person if you're doing e-learning unless you have a Zoom that you record with the kids. And if you have a Zoom, you can do it with them. But the question still remains, where's the evidence come in? You have to have evidence. All right, so guys, I'm telling you, your evidence can only come in a few ways. Either by giving an assignment, do a discussion, do a poll, give them a quiz, give them a test. That's basically what it comes down to. And then they have to upload that Canvas. Right? I know my handwriting is awful, so I appreciate you guys going with me. This is the evidence. You have to ask yourself, of the 100% that I want and the 60 to 70% that I can get, I need this. What's my evidence that I can get them to show me in Canvas? You have an assignment, a quiz. They can upload a file. You can, and you can make a discussion. Cool. Those are the options you have. So now, let's go back to when I'm planning out my acceleration, right? So I've given them notes. We've done video examples, because I have videos for everything in physics. I don't know what you guys have for your stuff, but we've done video examples. And then 3 is our first assignment. Now, my first assignment is actually this assignment right here. Now, notice that this is a Word doc. This is actually a Google Doc, but you can download anything that you want as like a Microsoft Word doc or PDF it, okay, and then upload it. Cool. Now, the question is, how do you want this assignment sent in? If I was going to do this with my kids, I would say, 1, I'm going to write actually bigger. Do it on paper. Do it on paper. So this assignment right here, this acceleration worksheet, I would say, I want all of my, and I would write instructions for it, right? So when I've created my assignment, I would give instructions. 1, do it on paper. 2, right? I would say use problem solving process, and that's a whole process in itself. And I'd have to write this out individually for them to read. 1, list and label. 2, rearrange the equation. 3, plug and chug. 4, double check your final response. And I'd have to actually write all this out for them. And then 3 would be upload to class. So as you can see, I'm writing all this out, and like, how do I want it? Do I want PowerPoint videos? How am I going to give them the notes? How am I going to give them examples? And then I need an assignment. An assignment right there, that upload right here, this is my first piece of evidence. Now, how much time do you think it's going to take a student to do this right here? In my opinion, that should take them roughly 3 days. Okay? Which means I have 2 more days left in the week. Maybe it's a short week. What can I do in 2 days? That's where I need to now go back to my process. I need to go back to my process. I'm getting more. I've explored the material with them, right? I've explained it to them. I've engaged them using whatever I have to engage them with. This is some... I'll give you another example of how I engage them. And online, you have to be more direct. I'm telling you guys, when you're doing online material, you have to be more direct. So the basics to the internet, I tell them, you are going to be asked these questions. This question, these questions, and these questions. You will be asked those questions. That's what you will be quizzed on. And I also have a cool question to kind of open them up. What's the difference in types of lag? And these games kind of like bridge it to something they already know. And then when I go back to my module, what you'll see is I actually have those exact same questions. Where am I at? Right here, basics to the internet and lagging quiz. I have those exact questions that I've built in this quiz, and they're all multiple choice. All multiple choice. It's those same questions. I like to be as straightforward as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I cannot reiterate this enough. This is what you want. This is what you can do. Be as direct as possible. Tell them what they need to know. Give them the stuff. Help them explore it. Give them the resources they need to know. Give them a chance to practice it. And then figure out what they know and what they don't know. And this is why I think we should do it on a week-to-week basis. Now, I know it's going to take time to build an entire week in Canvas. I get it. It's a lot of work. But that's when we can build a formula to do this, okay? On Canvas itself. And then we can just copy and paste over. By the way, just to tell you what I would do, I would spend the next 2 days, one, reviewing. I would have 1 day. Zoom. I'd say 1 day we're going to get on Zoom. I'm going to open up my room. If you have any questions on all this stuff, because by the end of the week, you need to be able to do acceleration, which is all this stuff, right? Now, by the way, that's for regulars. That's not really an honors assignment, right? By the end of the week, as you can see, we would actually do a lab. Now, listen, guys, it's going to be harder to do labs offline, and I can't really make a video on that one because that one has to be its own video. But this would be my preview to my lab. We'd go through practice problems together. I'm showing you the solutions, right? Let's think. That'd actually be the second week. So this would be like my Zoom call actually right now. I'd say, all right, guys, if you guys are having any issues, let's do a review together. On this day, let's go ahead and let's match these terms. We're going to show up. We're going to talk about it together. All right, cool. Guys, what I want you to do is I want you to write down, get your video camera up and running, get a piece of paper, right? And this is how I'm going to evaluate where you are now. All right, question number 1, 2, and 3. What I want you guys to do is I want you to answer 1, 2, and 3 on here. Do I think 1 is B, 2 is D, and 3 is A? Cool. At 30 seconds, I'm going to wait for you guys. And then what I would do is I'd read the question off. All right, guys, do you think speed is, velocity is, acceleration is? Come on, video camera. Go. There you go. By the way, if you put a pen down, that helps the camera to zoom back in. And then I would say, all right, everybody on Zoom, pull up your piece of paper and let me see your answer. Then I'd go to Zoom and I would see what everybody's answer was. And I'd be like, all right, well, here's the right answers. And then I'd go over the right answers with them. On this question, question number 2, right? So now we're done with that one. Give me a number 2. Give me a letter. What do you think it is, right? Is it speeding up, braking for a red light? Is it C or is it D? And then I'd go over it. Give me your answers. It's just D. All right, cool. I want to see it on your cameras. Cool. All right, now for this one, I think you guys get the point here, right? What I want, this is one way that you can do a formative check for a day on planning. And it's if you teach like a math course, right? Or any reading course any course really where you do like a whiteboarding example. I have whiteboards in my classroom that I distribute to the kids on certain days. They get a marker, they get a whiteboard, I ask a question, they have to write an answer, they hold up the board, and I'm like, you. No, you. Yes. All right, 15 got it wrong, 10 got it right. Cool, let's talk about the answer to this question. But if they all get it right, like this question, man, y'all got negative 2.5, y'all rock. Let's move on to the next one. Cool, what do you guys think about this one? Cool, what do you think about this one? And then I would just get through my review for that day. Now, I'm telling you guys, you should probably plan at least one day a week where you say, all right, today's meeting is Zoom day. Cool. And then the last day is evaluate day. How am I going to formatively assess you based off what you know, not some class discussion? I need to put you in a testing environment where you have X amount of questions and you have to figure out what you do and do not know, and I have to know. And that's where my Socrative usually comes into play. I open up a room called Socrative.com. I give them a room name, and I say I've already inputted 17 questions. Now, guess what, guys? You have Canvas. This right here is a quiz that these kids can take. This is what it would look like on their end from a student perspective. They can take these quizzes and then hit submit and see what they do and do not know. Everything I'm telling you, you can still plan out. But first thing what I would do is I would write it all out, okay? And keep it as simple as possible. So maybe what you guys need to do is something like on Monday, we're going to do intro, and we're going to do a reading assignment. And then on Tuesday, what we are going to do is we're going to do an essential question, which is a poll. Who cares, right? Some essential question with some review. I don't know what your essential question are because there's too many departments out there. Like, I don't even know what art would do. But art could do like, all right, guys, on Tuesday, we're going to do a picture. What kind of style was used? Or like, when was this done? I don't know. What kind of technique did we discuss yesterday? You can make it a discussion. I don't care what you guys do, right? You could do some assignment. And then what do you want to do for that day? And something that can take the kids between 15 and 30 minutes to do on day 2, right? Wednesday, do the same thing. What am I going to do Wednesday? X, Y, Z. Thursday. And then Friday. Once again, remember, this is what I want to do, but you can only do 60 to 70% of it. I would highly encourage you, and I've always encouraged that one day a week you leave. Why? Because this gives you time to pull everybody back to where they're supposed to be. This is where you can do Zoom meetings. This is where you can re-explain. Right? I like to call that enriching. And then Friday, you can do some kind of end of week. Is it a quiz? Is a discussion. Yo, discussions are great. They're great. You could do a poll, right? You don't necessarily have to quiz on that day. What I'm saying is, if you sit down first for that whole week and plan out how you want to roll out that lesson for the week, then we can go back and Canvas. Put this into Canvas. So it is vital that you write it all out. What do you want to do every single day, keeping the rest of these things in mind? Now remember, I just want to reiterate, this is a template that I use, and if I haven't done one of these, I'm going to go back at some point in the unit and plan it. So maybe I didn't really get the kids to elaborate too much during my week, right? Nowhere in here did they really get a chance to elaborate. Maybe they're still exploring the material. This is where I'm explaining it and checking them. And then the following week, I would continue this lesson, and the whole purpose would be to elaborate on everything that we've been talking about. So that way, by the end of the week, you can use and do all of this appropriately. Hope that makes sense to you. I would like to take the rest of this right here to kind of, maybe I'll leave this up. Kind of do some Canvas stuff with you guys to show you a template that you can follow, as well as how can you make it for yourself like easier in the future. Okay. So we have acceleration week 1. You know what? I wouldn't even do that. I would just do like, this is my unit. Cool. Then now what I would do is I would actually create a text header. And I would create this. I would say this is week 1. You don't have to title it, but I'm going to show you why I do it this way. Okay, week 1. Now, that's just a text header that just says where we are. I got to go back to my thing here. What do I want to do? On Monday, I want to introduce them to something, and I want to do some kind of reading assignment. Okay, so what can I do to introduce them and to get them to read something or to watch some video? Cool. What resources do I have? I have my PowerPoint. They probably need to, okay, you guys can't really see that. I'm sorry, because it's too small. My camera's like so far away, right? My introduction here, that's my PowerPoint. My reading assignment is just that. It's a reading assignment. Go up here. This is a reading assignment. Cool. All right. I also like I like questions like, what are your goals by the end of this week? What questions do you need to be able to? So here's what I'll do. I'll do, my first one's going to be a page. It's because it's not an assignment. It's not a discussion. I'm not having them upload any files or quizzes or assignments. There's nothing in here yet that I want them to turn in. What do I want them to turn in? Do I want them to turn something in every day? And if I do, what exactly do they need to turn in? I don't know. I don't know what the question is for you. So if you want them to turn something in, you have to make sure that you specify it. So far, I remember my plan, they have to turn in a written assignment, which is the acceleration work. And then maybe, you know what? Maybe we can do a discussion, right? Try to make it easy on the kids. Discussions are easy. They're just hard to grade because you have to go back and read through. But that's okay. If you wanted to do a quiz, that's fine. But trust me, discussion is probably the best way to start. So first thing we're going to do is make a new page. Now, you know what I want to do? I want to show you guys a template that you can follow. If you go to your dashboard, your sandbox, and you go import from Commons, right? Import from Commons, you can download this thing called Course Activity Templates and Units, and it kind of gives you a framework for it, okay? So if we go import from Commons, this is how you can build your pages, by the way. You'll see right here, Course Content and Activity Templates, right? This right here is beautiful. Beautiful. You click on it, you get all that stuff that I just showed you. All these pages. You click import, download the course. You click that, bada bing, bada boom. You go back to your sandbox and you got all of them. Cool. You click on assignment template. Or if you want, you can click on page template. And this is the generic template that you can use. Cool. So what we need to do is be able to copy it. I click edit at the top. All I did once again was click edit. Now see these 6 dots here? Let me turn off this video camera so that way you guys can see. See these 6 dots here? I drag it down. I click, hold, and drag, and it actually expands that view for me. Cool. I'm going to click anywhere. I'm going to do Control A. Right click, copy it. My whole goal is to copy that whole thing. Now remember, we're going back to our unit for acceleration. The first thing I want to do is get them in here. So this is the intro to acceleration. Cool. That's my page. Let's go ahead and let's edit this page. Cool. Edit. Now, expand that. Remember, everything that we just copied here, we're going to copy and paste over here. So, unit, acceleration, lesson, lesson number 1. Just don't even give yourselves a time frame. Don't do day 1. Don't do week 1. Just say lesson 1. Because we don't know what we don't know. And what if during this week, right? I'm going to go back to my video here, right? Let's say during this week, all of a sudden something happens big. And then the whole thing's like, oh, we're done for a little while. You don't know. Okay, so we're just going to plan it accordingly. This is our first unit, right? This is the first thing we're going to do. Lesson 1. I'll pull this off again. Cool. All right. These are your learning goals. By the end of this unit, you should be able to complete the following activity. Boom. Now, this is where you can do like learning goals, okay? You can do up here is like a 1, 2, 3. Let's think. If I actually go back to my stuff here, I actually have like learning goals. I have a lesson plan here for acceleration. And if you have a lesson plan, that's great. You should always put your standards in there. I could just copy all those and put it in there. I have a whole bunch of learning goals. I came from a school that if I didn't have all this stuff done, you were doomed. You should be able to define, determine, identify, describe. If you don't have that, that's okay. I'm telling you, you don't need it. But if you already have it, use it. But think about what the student needs to know, right? I need to be able to define this stuff. All right, cool. I'll define displacement, velocity, and acceleration. I will be able to determine if the object speed is increasing or decreasing, so on and so forth. I will be able, you guys get the idea, right? Put your specific learning goals in there. I would also do something like, by the end of this unit, you should be able to complete the following activities. Now, this is where I would take things like my acceleration, or, for example, this is my end of the week quiz, right? That's my, where's it at in here? Let's see, acceleration, where are you at? Acceleration, boom. And that would be quizzes. Actually, let me just go back to my calendar. I can find it if it's on my calendar. Funny. Can't find it in the organized, quote unquote, organized folder. It's right here. All right, that's where it's at. Here's a link to it. I'm going to copy that link. You should be able to do the following activities. 1. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to use my bullet points. Earn a 70% or higher on the following questions. And then you could do questions. Click here. I highlight it. I can link it. Boom. And now it's linked. Now, I know that's kind of a lot that I just did there. I clicked on those 3 dots. I looked for the link. I clicked on the link, and it was an external link. You could have different courses if you want. So, guys, if you watch my last video that I uploaded, it's like 2 hours long or something. In there, I explained things like OneDrive, how to use OneDrive, what it's good for. I would first watch those first 15 to 20 minutes on OneDrive if you want to know, well, how do I upload documents? Because you have all this digitally, right? I don't have anything digital. It's all in my classwork. Okay, well, we need to get it digitized somehow. And that would be a completely different question, a completely different video. But somehow digitize it. If that means you have to go to exam view and create something multiple choice, if that means you have to take pictures of it with your phone, I don't care what you have to do, digitize it. Put it in your OneDrive, and then share that file, okay? Anyways, I like to put in the beginning, put stuff here that are the exact questions they need to know. This is super, super important. Guys, we are online. The students need to know what they need to know, okay? So we're engaging them, showing them the learning goals, right? And then from here, you can put oh my God, I'm having a hard time here. Unit resources. Use for this unit. And I would say is make sure you download these resources to your computer or your student drive. Yeah, getting the kids to be organized there, good luck. That's a whole lesson in itself. And then I would put my resources in there. Cool. Now, we can either hyperlink it or embed it. So you can, here you go. Let's do PowerPoint notes. Okay, here's our PowerPoint, right? So here's my PowerPoint. I'd share it somehow. I'd get the link. And then I would copy the link. Once again, I did that quick, right? So all I did was I highlighted it, clicked the 3 dots, I clicked the link, I clicked edit link, and I put the link in the link. Cool. And then I would do things like videos used in this lesson. That's when I would kind of like go over, and I would be like, all right, let me go find some cool YouTube videos, right? Now I actually have videos that I've made and I've put into my specific PowerPoint. But, I mean, let's go. Acceleration. Intro. And then look, you have all sorts of videos that they can watch on their own. I love flipping physics. This guy is amazing. So I'd probably do introduction. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do introduction to acceleration with him. So I right-click, copy link address. Khan Academy. Unit 1 intro. I would also note that all of these discuss the same topic in different ways. Right? Because in physics, you have to have like all these different ways to explain things to people. You don't know which video is going to hit home, and it's kind of crazy. So there's our Khan Academy. You'll notice that it automatically goes down. So then let's go back to here. Let's go to flipping physics. Right-click, copy link address. Flipping physics. Guys, flipping awesome. So on and so forth. Cool. Now, guess what? That we could say lesson 1, students will be able to. Let's save it. Now I have my intro to acceleration, my unit, my lesson. I have my goals, what they need to know. I have the resources for it. I have the PowerPoint here, and I have a couple videos to get them started here. Cool. That's my introduction to this unit. Now remember, you don't need to talk about any of this, right? You don't have to. Kids should be able to log in, look at what you're learning, and do it on their own. They should be able to. Not all of them, and that's where we need to put in all of them. Where can we get the rest of them involved? So I'm going to go back down. All right, intro to acceleration, right? There's no assignment to it. That's the page you need to know. What I would do then is I would do one more page. What indent do we need? We need one indent. New page. Call it Zoom meeting, face-to-face instruction. I would add it as level 1. Oh, I guess I didn't indent that. Oh. Now, once again, we have pages here, a page template that we've already downloaded. Once again, you just click anywhere you want. Doesn't matter. I'm going to click down here, Control A, right click, copy, and I got it. Remember to right click where there's blue. Let's go to face-to-face instruction. We're going to edit this page. This is our acceleration unit. This is still lesson number 1. This is still the instructions. Guys, we're still on day 1. Now, what's good about this is we can copy all this stuff later and you never have to make it again. You just have to edit it. It's awesome. Essential question. What does the teacher expect of me for this unit? And what resources have they provided me? Zoom meeting info here. Oh, okay. Actually, we should probably put that down here. Zoom meeting info here. Please take the time out of your day to join me for my Zoom session. If you need face-to-face instruction, please join me. Or just please join me. My schedule and meeting times are listed below. And then you would put your Zoom meeting info here, and this could be anything. This is the meeting ID and password. And this could be for period 1 / period 2. You get the idea, right? So period 1, meeting ID and password. Control C, copy. I don't know how many periods you got, which ones you do it on. I imagine that most of us have different plannings, but you guys get the idea. Zoom meeting info here. It's easy to schedule. If you don't like Zoom, you could do Microsoft Teams if you want. You could host one thing in the day and you can just keep it on the whole time. I don't care how you run your face-to-face meetings, but just have something where you can discuss it there with the kids. Now, notice that still there's nothing due. This is just, hey guys, you need to know this for your class. Cool. I saved it. Cool. I should really move this at top. I'm so tired of having to go back all the way here. All right. I'm going to upload my camera again. We have an introduction. We didn't really give the reading assignment yet, right? So, if I was you, this is where I would start to build my template. And we've kind of done that, right? Reading assignment, think. Okay, so maybe if you, I didn't do a reading assignment for mine. I put those videos, and I did my introduction with my, what you call it, with my PowerPoint. So I want a quick check. Okay, I like to have quick checks with my kids. Did you read the PowerPoint, and did you watch any of the videos? And so this is where what I could do is do a quick quiz. Right? A new quiz. Quiz name. Check 1. Or you could do a discussion. Either way, let me just think here. I'm just thinking of the easiest way possible. I don't want to make as many as I want to make very few discussions and assignments and quizzes as possible. What are my assignments? Okay. See, if you're confused about which way to go, just what do I already know I want? I know for sure that I'm going to have another Zoom meeting. I know for sure that this activity, this one up here. Where'd it go? I know for sure I want them to turn this in. They have to turn this in. So maybe I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to go ahead and create the assignment for that page. And if I want to edit the alignment, do it later. New assignment, assignment name, what's it called? Acceleration problems. Cool. Let's edit it. Here we go. No content yet. Let's edit the content. Cool. Let's go ahead and let's do this. Let's get our lesson. Make sure we have, a standard unit acceleration. Lesson number 1. Assignment. Okay, so this is where I don't think the administration's really going to get onto you. You could do learning goals if you want. Most of the time when you design an activity with, anything, if you've guys been around long enough, you already know what I'm saying. You have to have learning goals. Oh, God. What happened? Here we go. Learning goals. Boom. Cool. Instructions. 1, make it as simple as possible. 1. Oh, God, we need to have this. Download the following. Acceleration problems. Three dots. Click the link. Paste it. Remember, you can right-click, paste as well. I'm just doing Control-V for Control Paste. Download. 2. Solve all the problems using pen and paper. Nothing digital will be accepted. I don't even say that. Solve all problems using pen and paper. Use the problem-solving process. Now, if they don't remember, kids need so much direction. Like every step of the way, you have to really hold their hand, right? Now, if you look over here, we've already gone over this during the week. The problem-solving process is here. So that's slide number 12. So what I would do is refer to slide 12 in the following PowerPoint. I didn't do it right. Right-click paste. That way, I don't know what I need to know. Man, I gave you an example. You know what? I could care less that that bracket's hyperlinked. I've only got so much time to worry about things. All right, I've given them that worksheet. They can download it. They said use the problem-solving process. Then, this is the important part. How do they submit? Click Submit Assignment. Upload a picture of your work into the appropriate space. You have to tell them, click Submit. I know this is kind of crazy. Cool. I want this assignment worth 25 points. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Submission type. This is where you got to do online. It has to be a file upload. Okay. Don't restrict the file type yet. Just tell them it's a file upload. It's not grouped. It's not. You can, by the way, you can give due dates available from. I would just not worry about that till now unless you absolutely know what's your due date. Cool. Check it out. This is what they see, right? They see assignment, learning goals. Here's our instructions. It's very simple. Okay, I've got this done. Actually, if you think about it, that goes all the way to like even Wednesday because they need to do all of this on their own. And then they also can refer to the PowerPoint. Cool, right? Now we have our acceleration problems. I basically got this done for my class. Now remember that for I know physics well. I'm the master of physics. You're the master of your class. You know what you do and don't want them to do. Okay? I got them notes. I gave them video examples. I gave them an assignment. See the power of writing it out, by the way. I was able to kind of linearize my thoughts. What did I say I want them to do? Process, boom. Upload to class, boom. What's that? Evidence. That's their evidence. That's 3 days worth. Cool. I've done all this now. Next up, Zoom meeting. Cool. Check this out. Zoom meeting face-to-face. I've already made it, right? Once you make it once, you can just duplicate it. It's the 3 dots. Bring it down. Let's edit it. And let's do Zoom meeting. Assignment. In class. Follow-up. Nice. Check it out. Let's actually get rid of that. That's the first one made, right? Face-to-face instruction. That's what we got. Face-to-face instruction. Face-to-face instruction. We've already got it all detailed out, right? Check it out. Assignment and class follow-up. Assignment and class follow-up. You already have the template made. That's what we're doing here. Making our template. And then Zoom meeting here. Then you probably should edit what we're doing on this day, right? What issues am I having with this particular part of the unit? How can I talk what questions can I ask my teacher? And I like to always tell the kids it needs to be specific. Questions can I ask my teacher? Like, Mr. Gavin, I'm having a problem with this. Can you help me? Well, what exactly are you having a problem with? I don't understand it. Well, what don't you understand? Any of it. Well, do you understand that there's an equation? Yeah. Do you understand what equation we're using? Yeah. I know what equation we're using. We're using the acceleration is velocity over time. Well, that means you understand something. That's not all of it, right? Do you know how to write the equation out? Yes. How do we... And then I'll go through the step by step. And it's so... If you do that 30 times... You're not going to do that 30 times a class. But it's not outside the realm of possibility. You do that 5 to 10 times a class period. And then multiply that times 6. And you're doing that between, 30 and 60 times a day. Right? So that kind of gets crazy. The good thing about Zoom is everybody can be a part of the discussion. Right? You can even record it and upload it later. So you could say things like, what questions are you specifically going to go over? Today I will cover one. First, I will actually do slides, because remember, I like to have follow-up questions. Which slides am I going to cover? Slides 13. Actually, no, I would do slides, that my review would be slides 9 through... We hadn't gotten to graph. Yeah, slides 9 through 17. Slides 9 through 17. Slides 9 through 17. From the PowerPoint. And then once again, anything that you guys cover, you always have to... I mean, I can't explain it. I can't stress this enough for you guys. Gotta link it. Gotta link it. Gotta link it. Gotta link it. You can. FAQs from the class. Future. I think what I would also do on this Zoom meeting is cover what I want for them at the end of and then meeting and stuff there. Click save. Right. Have our plan. And I love to write this stuff out. Like, what's the process? What do I want them to do? What can I give them to explain to them, and what can I get them to do? Cool. We'd probably have to change some of this stuff, but whatever. Kids ain't gonna. If they come after you, tell them they can back off. They're not the ones designing all this stuff. Cool. Actually, let's go back to our course. Cool. And then the last thing would be, do you want a discussion, a quiz? I don't know what you guys want to do for your end of the week assignments. I really don't. Do you want to do a discussion as your assignment? Like, my assignment right here was an actual assignment that they had to write on paper, and then they had to turn in. You could have had them do a discussion, right? I could have been what did this article mean to you? Answer this question using this specific terminology in your question. Please respond to somebody else's response, making sure to either A, verify using evidence, or B, deny using evidence. I don't know. But we're going to do a quiz. Quiz name, acceleration checkup. Quiz 1. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and finish the process of making this quiz. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to sit here and edit a quiz. I'm just not going to do that with you guys. FYI, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know why this is, but the way I just created this quiz, where I just did plus quiz, if you do it this way, you can only use classic quizzes. You cannot create the new, crazy, cool-looking quizzes. The only way to do that, and it's so dumb, at least from what I've learned, is you have to actually go to quizzes, create a new quiz, and then you have to choose new quizzes. Otherwise, you're doing classic quizzes, and I'm just not about it. So just to FYI you on that one. Anyways, that's going to be my model for week number 1. And I've created it. And it took me sitting here with you an hour from start to finish. Well, it would probably take me an hour and a half because I'd have to make the quiz. Okay? But I started with, and this is also, by the way, explaining my process and explaining everything to you guys. So I started with, what can I give the kids? Right? What are all the stuff I can give the kids? What can I explain to them? How can I get them engaged in the material? Sometimes you can show them a cool video, ask them a cool question. Most of the time online, kids don't care about that. What are they going to do? Kind of write out, what do you want them to do this week? And then I went through here and kind of wrote out what I want to do. I left some time in here by making extra Zoom meetings, right? So that way I can re-explain things. Left some time, gave them an assignment, get them in an initial meeting that I can show up and explain to them what they're doing. They have all the links and resources in here, and then they have a follow-up quiz. So I've given them something to do, given them something to see, given them something to read, given them something to give them someone to talk to, and then I've tested them on it. I've kept it very bare bones, minimum, and basic. This is my most basic modules that I will create and use. Now, here's what is super, super cool about Canvas. Listen, let's say you do week 1 and you want to go ahead and use the same thing for week number 2. Watch this. Boom. Oh God, you can duplicate this. Week 2. You'd have to, I'm surprised you can't just duplicate an entire module. You can duplicate everything. So I'd have to create a new text header. Week 2. Intro to acceleration. I like that format. Duplicate. Put it down here. I like the zooms face to face. Duplicate. Move down here. I like those acceleration problems. I'm going to do the same thing with them because I teach physics. They have to be able to do it. They have to be able to write it out. Duplicate. You guys see what I'm getting at now? We have assignments. We have follow-ups. We have quizzes. And then you probably wouldn't want to duplicate the quiz because that's probably not a good thing. But, you know, just how easy is it to make a new quiz? And acceleration actually only takes 2 weeks. Acceleration's test. Boom. Now, actually, I'm going to be honest with you. I probably wouldn't do a test week 2. I'd probably do a test week 3. Now I think about it. Because it's online and they need more time and we haven't done any labs. So this is where you could do, like, instead of intro to acceleration, right? This is where we could do acceleration lab, FET lab. And in most of your science courses, you can do labs. Then I would go probably lesson 2 for week 2, and then do all my stuff, keep all that stuff here. If I earn a 70% or higher on, I would say be able to complete the following handout. And then I would go to my FET lab here. This is my moving man lab. This is something that we do in class. Here's part 1 and part 2. I would probably have to figure out which one I'd want them to do. Oh, okay, yeah. This one is an assignment that we do in class. Yeah. And this one is, like, really, really, really. Yeah, this one's really, really, this is good. This is good. You can do this online. I like that. FET lab handout. But do you see, like, I've already created this kind of, what you call it, this template. And now that I've created it once, and I did it for week 1, now I can do it again, and I just copy and paste. Look, I already have spots for resources. I already did my PowerPoint up here, right? I can add more videos. Now that we're into the intro, I can go back over to here, and then I can do, like, whatever I find. What if we did the FET lab? Oh my God. Look at that. Look, there's even a FET lab one in here. Acceleration walkthrough. Get out of here. Kids are lucky. Boom. Now I can save it, and I'm done. But do you see what I'm saying, guys? Like, once you build that first skeleton template, and that's the hardest one, you can just copy them and paste them over, and now you're good to go, and I just got to go back and re-edit it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You're going to go back, you're going to watch it. Now, when you watch this video, just take it as is. Don't try to get too crazy with it. If you need any help, you are more than welcome to contact me. Okay, you can email me. I'm going to leave this up. Actually, I'm going to leave the first page up. right? That way you can see that stuff, evidence and stuff. You can email me. My classroom is 127. So if you dial 1270, if you're at my school, it'll get to me. This might not be true in the future. So in the future, just email me. You know how to get to me. My name is Gabs, Michael Gabney. Guys, stay safe.